So after the last jerkbait video, I had a lot of questions just all over the board on jerkbaits. You know, what jerkbait was I throwing? Why was I choosing that one? Why was I throwing that color? And so we just decided to sit down and do a master class about jerkbaits and, you know, how it's evolved in the last 5 to 10 years, how it's changing. And so we're just going to go through that top to bottom. First of all, the other day, or the last video, jerkbait video, you know, I was throwing a 5.5 inch suspending Rogue. And, you know, this has been, they haven't made it for a few years until like a year ago. You know, I think we made 5,000 to 10,000 of them and put them out there just to kind of make everybody happy that's still, like me, diehard Rogue guys. So first of all, this bait is not made for 80 degrees. You're not going to go to Champlain and jerk it for smallmouth or anything like that. This is a slow bait. It doesn't have the quick action to be able to trigger those smallmouth bites or even largemouth now. You know, it's a slow moving bait. That's why this bait to me excels in that 40 degree water temperature, 40 to 51 or 2, that cold water. And honestly, the colder it gets, the better it gets. Now, you're watching saying, well, it doesn't do me any good because they don't make it anymore. Well, we still make the same bait in a 4.5 inch, which is, you know, the most popular. And we'll go through some of those later. But so the question is, why are you throwing a bait? Why are you throwing that bait? Well, one, it's cold, and my belief is that when it's cold, the fish don't eat as often, but when they do eat, they tend to eat bigger, you know, bigger baits, like to make them last longer. So they don't have to spend a lot of time eating each day like they do in the summer. You know, they eat on Tuesday, a big gizzard shad, they don't have to eat again until Friday or Saturday. So that's one, just the size. And another thing is I'm not trying to catch every fish that I see or every fish. I'm trying to target bigger fish, so I'm throwing a bigger bait. But it's the action of this bait. Like when I put it above them and I twitch it, it's not quick. You know, when I twitch my rod, it's just like a dying shad. If you're ever out there, and I've seen it a lot over the years, and you have a shad kill, that's what these shad do. You'll see one dying, and he's sitting in the water column, and it's almost like he's dead, and then you'll see him just swim a second and move. And even when he does, it's not 100 miles an hour, it's just like this. And over the years, I believe that is what triggers them to bite it in 40 degree water temperature. So that's the 5.5. You know, that's the bait I was doing in the last video. And we're going to go back to the bill. This is the 4.5. It's the same action. Everything is just a little bit smaller bait. And when I would throw this is if I'm around a lot of bait that's small, and or if I'm on a place where a 3-pounder is a big one or a 4-pounder is a big one. You know, just not trying to, you know, just trying to proportion the size, I guess, that I'm fishing for. You know, and here, I'll open this box, and this is my main wintertime box. Just grab a couple of colors here. Old school suspend dots. All right, just a few of the colors. You know, about what colors, and 99% of the fish that eat a jerkbait are going to see the belly of it, and they're going to see the sides. When it jerks, it's going to turn. They hardly see the back. So the belly is important, you know, darker water, you know, you're gonna see me like an orange or a white belly. You know, as that water gets clear, you know, like the one, that's almost the same bait actually. It's more of a translucent, you know, they don't see the bait as well. So, you know, these brighter bellies in darker water, whites, and then the transparent, same as that's a general rule across fishing on everything. So the clearer the water is, the more transparent you want. So bill wise, I thought I had a perfect 10. Same bait, this is a 5.5 inch Rogue, perfect 10. We still make this one. Every day you see the difference in the bill there, okay? This one's gonna run 6 to 8 on a long cast. This one's gonna get down to 10 or 11, you know, with 12-pound line. The bill on the 4.5 is the same angle, just not as big of a bait. All right, so, you know, 10 years ago, I would look at these bills and be like, all right, if I want to fish 6 to 8, I'm going to grab this one. If I want to fish 10 or deeper, you know, around 10, if I want to get down there in their face, like on a sunny day, and I got to get the bait really, really close to them, then I would throw the perfect 10. But times have changed. Now it's about, not only do I still throw at the bank and blind cast, you'll call it, just normal fishing. I still do that. But also we're looking at them on live scope. Now it's about, I see that fish, how quick can I get the bait to him? You know, this is different than, say, a sonar minnow. I see one out there at 40 feet with a sonar minnow. I can cast at 40 and that bait can fall on his nose and I can watch it and I can make him react. This bait's different. If I see him out there, I gotta be able to throw past him 20 feet, get the bait down to him, and the whole time if he's moving, being able to lead him and, you know, keep the bait above him so he comes up and eat. So that's where the perfect 10 bill kind of comes into play. I can throw this out there, and if I can't get it that far past him, I'm able to get it down to him right there, and I can manage the depth of it. You know, if it's going down and I see I'm going to get too deep, you know, I can lift my rod up and jerk. So that's to me, that's why, like, you'll see me jerkbait fishing this time of year in the winter. I'll always have these two laid out just because of how fast I'm able to get the bait down there to them and how they're, you know, it's different. It depends on if that fish is setting up high and he's sunning, he's still. A lot of times these fish are actually moving. So it's kind of like, you know, shooting quail. You got to be able to lead them a little bit and get the bait down to them, keep it above them, and then make them react. So we do have something, and I can show you a little bit of it. I can't show you all of it. I've been working on something. You see how this bill here, you know, it's long and wide. It's a slow bait, okay, just normal jerk bait. You see how this bill's smaller, it's narrower. It's gonna be a lot quicker bait, okay? This is a bait that I'm probably gonna be throwing in the Classic 2024. It has a lot of special features that are gonna be really, really exciting when it does come out. But I just wanted to show you the bill. We're gonna have something that's gonna be that quick, 60 to 70 degrees in the spring and in the summer, when you can see those fish on live scope, to be able to get down there and that really quick movement to be able to make them bite. So I don't want to show anybody because the body, because I'm probably gonna be throwing that in the Classic. So, you know, as far as the setup, jerkbait rod, always a 6.8 and 12-pound fluorocarbon. So, you know, I think that covers everything for the most part as far as bills. And like I said, this is for the 40 to 52. Hope you guys learned something. I appreciate you riding along.